Hi, and welcome back to the Mind and Wellness podcast with me, Gemma Merna. And today I have got my gorgeous friend on, Liz. I'm so excited you agreed to do this with me.
The worry is we could chat forever, so is
I
it ever
know,
going to
I know,
end?
because we just already been, I think, chatting for about half an hour before we started.
We should have recorded the second I walked in.
I know. But thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
I'm
me.
so excited. And so this podcast is all about mindset, people's journeys, and their health as well. And I listened to your book, Fletcher's on the Farm, and I've known you for years as well. Like how many years now we've been friends. But I was blown away by your story and Kelvin's. But what I noticed so much about you was your mindset. Like you've got such a strong mindset from being an actor to being a mum to being a farmer now. And that's why I wanted to get you on just to have a chat about that. Cause I just think it's something that I think people will feel really inspired from. So
Oh, thank
yeah.
you.
So I want you to take us back to like first like acting because you did like a show traveling, didn't you, from such a young age? And
Yeah.
where did that like passion come from for your acting?
Well, I mean, I think I was just one of those kids that when they've got that little acting drive in them from a young age, I had that. And my mum would
Mm.
send me to kind of dance classes with no awareness of the acting industry for my mum. She was just sending me to the local dance school or whatever was doing shows. Um, But as I was growing up doing little acting bits, you get talking to people and then you find out other ways of how to get more involved in things. And someone told me about this newspaper called The Stage. And did you used to get The
Yeah, the
Stage? I think
stage.
every
Me
little
and my
actress got
brother
The
used to
Stage.
get the stage, yeah, and
Yeah.
like circles.
And you circle everything. I could do that. I was like 3 years too young. I could do that.
Yeah. And that was the
um,
biggest pay. Like, if you were an actor back then, like that was when you seen the stage, like that was your chance to go for auditions on it
yeah.
because they were open. They didn't.
Exactly. It's so different now. Like
Yeah,
I didn't have an agent. It
yeah.
was just me reading these articles as a little 10, 12, 13-year-old me. And I saw this one that was auditioning for the Famous Five. And it was in Manchester. I dragged my mate along with me and said, just come. And I think she was too tall for it. But I was like, just come with me. Just like we had no
Yeah.
parents taking us. We found our way to Manchester. We did this whole day of an open casting. And I kept getting recalled. You know, you do your little
Yeah.
piece. Can you stay? You stay a bit longer. Can you stay? Stay a bit longer.
Yeah.
And before
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know it,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
6 o'clock. You've gone through all these like little,
Mm,
they've broken it down
yeah.
and the group's gotten smaller and smaller. And then they said, right, thanks for that. You can go away now and we'll be in touch. And I get these premonitions sometimes. I'm quite spiritual
Oh, I love
sometimes.
that. I love that when I read the book, I was like, oh my God, yep.
It's so true. I do. I get these
Mm,
feelings. And even as a 13-year-old, I remember coming home thinking, I've got this feeling they've called. And we only had a house phone then. Nobody had
yeah.
mobiles. And do you remember 141? And
Yep.
you could see who rang
Yep.
last. And it was a London number. It's like, oh. So I rang it back. It's like, no one's in the house. I used to go
Yeah.
home and sit in and wait for my mum and dad to get home from work. Rang it back and it said that it was this theatre. So I knew that they'd called. So next thing I wait for my mum to get back. And then she got in touch with them, found out they'd asked me to go back to London to do another recall. And then again, the same process, going down, 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 down,
Yeah.
down. And until eventually I got offered the part.
And those recalls, because I was the same when I was younger. I went to those recalls. I did a library theatre, Goodnight, Mr. Tom, and
Oh yeah.
that was the same thing. But I'd be ill with nerves. Like it would absolutely cripple me. How did you find that? Because I feel like you're such a confident person. You just did it.
Yeah, I think I do remember the one thing that got me because I then had to go to London. I had
Yeah.
to come out of school and live in London for like a year. And then, live in London for rehearsals. Then we went on tour around the
Yeah.
UK. So we were here, there, and everywhere. And the one thing that got me was homesick. I was really
Mm,
homesick because it was the first time I'd really been away from my
mm.
parents and away from home, away from my friends. I'm with all these other kids that have got all different accents, they're all from different places. And it took me a little bit of time to get used to that. But then once you're in the flow,
Yeah.
once you've made your friendships, it was just an absolute ball. And my mum and dad did buy me a mobile phone that was huge. Do you remember when the SIM cards were like a credit
Yeah.
card? And I was so embarrassed by this phone. And they were like, we
Oh.
just need to keep in touch with you. We just need to know you're all right. And in the end, they were ringing like the director or the producer going, can Elizabeth please call home? Because I was just hiding in my bag all the time. Like, I go from being really homesick to then like,
Yeah,
don't ring me.
don't
I
ring
cannot
me.
get this phone out of my bag.
Oh,
And yeah, and I think once you get into something as an actress, to be on stage, it
yeah.
just lights you up. It fills you with all those feelings, and
Mm.
it's an energy and a happiness that you can't describe, isn't it?
Oh, totally.
And so yeah, once you're into it, we were into it, and it was honestly one of the best years of my life.
Oh, I'm just because I didn't know all this about you, and when I listened to the book, I was like, I want more, I want more. I was like, oh my god, this like story, and I just thought how amazing at 13 to be able to go on tour like that
I
and
know.
do it. Like, I think that is some strength in your mind. You know what I mean? To be able to do that, because I don't think I'd have been able to go to London on tour at that age at all.
Well, do you know what? I think within my family, I've probably got some really strong women, like my
Mm,
mum, my grandma, and my
I
nana.
heard that.
We're
Yeah.
incredibly strong women. My mum did a law degree with 3 children. I think she was pregnant with me at the time, and she was determined to do it. And I think then it wasn't a done thing. It was like, she could have been a stay at home mum, but she had this passion to do this law degree. And she did it. And she then
Mm.
worked her way up in the company and got to where she wanted to be. My grandma, came out of the war, survived the family through the war. They just have a strength that you've
Mm.
got to keep the family together. You've got to keep going. You've got to keep pushing. You've got to keep going to the next step. And the same with my nana. She moved over from Ireland with the family. My granddad said he had a house sorted. It turned out to be like a loft in his mate's house. And she's climbing up and down these stairs with all the kids. And I think that's the one mindset that I've got, that you just keep going.
Yeah.
Always keep going, no matter what. Don't don't be the victim. Don't make excuses. Just keep going, because there's nowhere else. You can't go back. There's nowhere else for you to go.
Mm.
So just keep pushing, just keep making steps, and you'll get there.
That is just so amazing, because a lot of people, we can sit in the past so much, and
Yeah.
then we can sit in the future. And everything that I do at Mind and Wellness, I've worked through all that to have a better mindset, because
Yeah.
my mindset wasn't there. And I feel like you've got that in you already. And that's why you are so inspirational. And I think that's such a great tip to give actors as well.
Yeah, I think sometimes I have this little thing that sometimes, don't get me wrong, Gemma, life is life.
Yeah.
There's challenges, things can go wrong, stuff can happen. But what I sometimes think is, right, in this moment, if I've been really disappointed, I've not had a job, I've not
Mm.
got an acting job that I really, really wanted, or I don't know, whatever it is that you wanted and it didn't happen, or whatever situation you're in, you, I sometimes think to myself, right, what is the alternative here? I can either sit and cry about it all day long, or I can just face the feeling.
Yeah.
It's a disappointment, it's a
Hmm.
bump in the road, it's what's happened. What's next?
Yeah.
And I think with Kelvin as well, it's funny because we kind of attract those same energies. He's very, what's next?
Yeah.
And I think now that we've got kids, that weirdly, it takes so much of your time to have children. I
Mm.
have to be so efficient with my time. I've not got time to be sitting and dwelling,
Yeah.
crying in my pillow. You've just got to get on with it. You've
Yeah.
got to get on with it. And I think as much as we try and find the joy in life, I try and see the positive, and I'm a true believer that everything happens for a reason. When I've had some moments that I'm so upset about because it's not happened, it's not until later down the line that you look
Mm.
back and think, oh, thank God it didn't,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't have had this
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, I can't just sit and be worry. I mean, as much as I worry, I've got 4 kids. I worry about them
Yeah.
all the time. No matter,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
worrying
Yeah.
about them being 18, and they're not even
Yeah.
18 yet. I'm still, a
Yeah. Yeah.
human
Yeah.
being. But I think because my time is so limited, because I want to be present for them, I want to,
Mm.
I've got a career I want to carve out. I've got a husband. I'm running a farm. I just think, right, I can never go into victim mode. I've got
Yeah.
to just keep pushing and keep moving and keep finding the answers of, right, what's next?
And it's more the logical brain. It is
Yeah.
like more of the logical brain instead of the monkey mindset that takes
Yeah,
over.
exactly.
Because I think a lot, we allow the monkey to control our life quite a bit. You know what I mean? If we're not aware of it.
Yeah.
And the way that you do kind of go, right, what's next? Let's get this. I've not got time to kind of think about that. That is more the logical brain
Yeah.
and just getting things done. Because you came out of acting for a little bit, didn't you? And then went back into it.
Yeah, so it's weird because after that year at London,
Mm.
then I went back to school, and then there were no castings in the stage that were right for
Yeah.
me. I was then getting to this sort of 16-year-old.
Funny
Yeah,
the age
it's a
thing,
funny
isn't it,
age
with
time.
acting? I think that's the thing
Exactly.
people don't understand as well. If you're not an actor, like you go through periods of your life where you don't fit into the
Yeah,
bracket, do you? Or you don't look old enough, or you don't look young enough. And
yeah.
these parts of it that you've got to kind of roll with it a little bit, don't you?
Exactly. And still a tricky age, just as a kid in general, you're getting to know yourself a bit
Yeah.
more. We were moving on to college, you're trying to work out. You seem to think that at that age, you have to know, what do I want to be? I had no idea what I wanted to be at
Mm.
16. I loved acting,
Yeah.
but was that what I wanted to do for the rest of my life? What career did you want?
Mm.
And you have these chats with the career advisors. How are you meant to know? You've not even experienced life.
I
You've
know.
only ever been in school.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
And so it became tricky for me. So I stepped out and I had this vision. Right, I need to go plan B. I need to go professional. I need a proper job. Acting's not a proper job. I need a proper job. And as proper as I could get was hairdressing. I was like, nothing, I don't fancy anything else. So I went to college to do hairdressing, basically followed my friends.
Yeah.
We had the best time. We all had the best hair for like 2 years.
I
I
just
had
love
every
it.
colour going, every style going. And then when it came to the end of that, I realised, actually, I'm terrible at this. I can't be a hairdresser.
Is
Like,
that what you thought?
everyone was having wonky bobs. I was just the worst hairdresser. And then weirdly, one of those moments I was in a bar having a conversation, and this girl that was with a friend of mine was doing a fashion buyer's degree.
Yeah.
And once again, another one of those, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm a true believer in contracts, which are sometimes a contract is like a little meeting with someone,
Mhm.
and that meeting might last 5 minutes or it might become a long-term friendship,
Yes.
but it'll be for a reason.
Yes.
And this person that I met then told me about this fashion buying degree, which sounded so, I was like, what, you buy fashion?
Yeah.
What? This sounds amazing. You get paid for that. That sounds amazing. Next thing, went home, had a conversation with mum and dad. I was like, listen, I want to go to university. I'm going to do this fashion buying degree. And they were just so pleased. My mum and dad are all about education.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, she's going to go to university. Like, my brother's off being a doctor. My other brother was being a dentist. And I was like, I'm going to do fashion. So they were like, whatever, just, go to university
Yeah.
and enjoy yourself. Did that. And then I started in the fashion industry for about
Wow.
8 years, 9 years. And within that time, re-met Kelvin, because we went to school together, my husband, who's an actor, and we went to school together. And when I was about 22, although we'd grown up together, we kind of drifted ways as like teenagers. And he was off in Emmerdale and I was off trying to find myself. What is it I want to do in this life? And then we re-met, and he like brought this little acting spark back in me because I saw him on set every day. I saw that, like, the circles he was in, and I saw him reading the scripts, and me and him would get his scripts and we'd be like,
And did you get like that buzz again?
I
Like
got the
it's there, isn't
feeling.
it? It's
It's
like that.
always there.
I know if you're an actor or performer, you just
Yeah.
know because it's like you go, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And he's Andy Sugden, and I'm playing, I don't know, Bernice or whoever he
Yeah.
was up against. And I was like, this is amazing. And I thought to myself, hang on, this feeling's there now. And
Mhm.
it was making me think things. And I started to look at acting classes again.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll just see what happens. So I went back to an old acting school that I went to, which was David Johnson's. I think if you're in Manchester, everybody knows David Johnson. And he was such an old school classic teacher that he taught you discipline. He taught so much how to break down a script, the absolute importance of everything, the character. You're not just going and you're just reading these words. You finding every depth in it. And it was amazing. And the more I went, the more I was like, this is for me. And then I was thinking, wow, what am I going to do here now? I'm going to do my 9-to-5 job, but I really want to be doing that again. How am I going to make this work? And I thought a friend of mine introduced me to an amateur dramatics that was doing a show. They were doing this musical, and it was called Rent. And she said, why don't you audition for Mimi? You'd be great as Mimi. I'd never even heard of Rent at the time. I was like, yeah, a show, I'll do it. Became obsessed with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Went for the audition, got the part. And it's funny how things that you then start thinking, you start going in that direction, don't you?
Yep.
Then I got the part with this little amateur dramatics show, did the show, and that was it then. Once I'd done this show in front of an audience, I was like, oh my God, I've forgotten how much I love this.
That's best feeling, isn't
I
it?
cannot go back to my 9 to 5 job now. I
Mm.
can't talk about fashion every day. I need to be
Yeah.
performing or creating. And then I found out about this drama school that was in London. Now I'm 28 at this point. So
That's brilliant.
my mates are all having babies. They're all getting married. They're all buying houses. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so not there. I am not
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And although me and Kelvin were together, I was like, I think I'm going to move to London and go to drama school if I can get in.
Yeah.
So I secretly auditioned because this is the other thing. I'm a true believer in just keep it to yourself until it happens.
I know,
You don't need
I
to share it
know.
with anyone. Just keep it to yourself, make it happen.
Me and you are so different. I'm like, tell everyone, I'm like, oh my God, I'm an audition, come and help me.
No, I'm all about keeping it yourself. And then if it's disappointing, you could just take that all in yourself and let it go. You don't need to share it with the world.
I know,
You can just
but this
let
is
that go.
I know, I get that. But this is this thing that I've shared. Like, I didn't get a job, but
Yeah,
I did it because I'm like, we should be celebrating just those auditions, self-tapes,
true.
because you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we're bloody amazing. We
I
get a
know.
script, so we have to learn it in like 2 days and
That's
put
so
it on
true.
tape. And then, if you
Film
look,
it, edit it, direct it.
yeah, you're like ringing your mate going, oh my God, can you come round tonight? I've literally got between 6 and 7
Yeah,
until like it's mayhem in the house.
yeah,
And you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like, so I'm all about, I was like, I used to keep stuff, but I'm all about let's celebrate like what we actually do as actors, because
That is
it's the
true.
time and the
Yeah,
effort that people just don't see.
that is true. I mean, this is a time where Facebook was kind of coming off the ground.
Yeah,
Instagram was not the way it was. You
yeah.
weren't sharing stuff like that. And it was more a case of, you know, it felt like a bit of a life-changing moment here. I was like, right,
Mm,
I'm either gonna settle for this 9 to 5 job and I'll probably get married and have babies and do
yeah,
this, or I'm gonna take a leap here and really push my
yeah.
what the fire in my belly is. And I think it was nerve-wracking for me to try and work that out. And I probably kept it to myself, think, let's
Mhm.
just work this out before we share it with the world. Let's just see what's
Yeah.
happening here. Anyway, so I went to these auditions for the drama school. Again, got the recall, and then you get the recall, and you're like, oh my God, this could happen. And you don't want to get too excited
I
because you think it
know.
could also not happen.
Yeah.
But then I got called back a couple of times. And then once again, like a month later, sat at my desk and I'm emailing India about some fabric that we're making a dress out of. And I just got this feeling, I thought my phone's going to ring. And my phone rang.
Oh, Liz, don't
And
do
it
this
was
to
the
me.
drama school saying, we want to offer you a place here. Like, this was
Do you think you're a
August.
little bit psychic?
I don't know. I
Like
don't
you
know.
get a
I just get
feeling?
these little feelings, and it's only happened a few times, but it comes and I don't know. It maybe just
Mm,
a little bit
mm,
spiritual. I don't know.
yeah.
Got this call. This was August, and I'm like, so you're going to join us in September? So now I've got to quit my job. I've got to go home to Kelvin, who I live with, and tell him I'm no longer going to live with him. And I've got to find somewhere to live in London, all within the space of like a few weeks. I was like, oh my God. So once again, I didn't have time to sit back and panic.
Yeah.
I just got to make this happen now. I just got, right, my notice here. Here's my notice. I'm leaving. And everyone was like, hang on, what? Do you even know anyone in London? I'm like, what?
Oh, I just
Are you having a
love
midlife crisis?
this.
What's happening here? But before you know it, you start making those calls. Before you know someone who's got an apartment, or you know someone who's
Yeah.
moving out.
Yeah.
And it's funny because once you start thinking these ways, you'll find the connections
Yeah.
that you need. You absolutely
Because you
will.
want it. You wanted
Because you
it.
want it, exactly.
You really wanted it. So you're
Yeah.
going to make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. So that happened. I found somewhere to live. And then at 28 years old, when all the other kids were like 21 in drama school, I was like the oldest one there, rocked up on day one with my little backpack, all brand new. Hi! And my life just changed completely
Wow.
from what was a risk, but a risk at the point where I remember speaking to my dad, and my dad said, okay, well, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You just come home and get a job. Like, what is the actual worst thing what's the alternative?
That's right though, isn't it? Like, I think in life, there's always like things that you want to do, but you all know, and the fear gets
Yeah,
in. But your
exactly.
dad's so right. Like, what is the risk? You know what I mean? Like, if you do these things that you want to do and you don't like it, you just revert back. That's it.
Exactly.
No big deal.
Exactly.
But there can be so much pressure around it, can't they?
They can, and I get it. And there's a lot of fear, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and it is scary to start again.
Mm.
But what scared me more was always having that in the back of
Yeah.
my mind, and finding that 20 years down the line, I didn't do it, and then it was too late. Can't go to drama school at 50.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can, I don't know. But for me, I thought,
Yeah.
this is my moment. This is
How
me.
did you feel going to drama school? Because they always say go to drama school later, don't they? Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? In the industry, they always say if you can go and have some life experience,
Yeah.
then go back to drama school. Like, you know, I'm 40 next year. I'd love to go and do a year somewhere
Yeah.
just to kind of like, I think with life experience, you become a better actor, you become a better performer, you more authentic because you know yourself. I think it must be an amazing experience going in there when you know yourself better.
Well, that was the thing. A lot of these kids there were like released in London, straight out of college, drinking,
Yeah.
finding all the new nightclubs in London. As I wasn't, I was like deadly serious. I was like, this is my one shot. I'm not going to mess this up. This is absolutely what I want to do. And I was so focused and so into it. And I'd done all the, the partying and I'm not a massive partier, but
Yeah.
I'd done the
Yeah.
whole
You do
student
that when
thing
you're younger,
when
don't
I
you?
was,
Yeah.
when I was like 18 or whatever. So it wasn't that I needed to do all that again. So I had a lot better focus. I was just cool I was happy to be on my own. I was
Yeah.
content.
Yeah.
I didn't need to be surrounded by people. I was happy to sit in an awkward place on my own and be comfortable with that,
Yeah.
And I think that does come with life, and it
Yeah.
comes with
It does.
experience. And yeah, that for me just felt like the right time. And I was like, I graduated as I turned 30,
Wow.
and I've never looked back. I'm 40 now. Never
Well,
looked back.
I know you spoke about it in the book, and I know we've done stuff, haven't we? The archetypes.
Yes.
And 28 is one of those, is that changing point,
yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
And that's kind of when I had a bit of a change at 28. I did lose my dad, so I think that kind of changed everything, but I wanted to see what else I could do instead of staying in the show. But I
Yeah.
think I stayed another 2 years, and I had that desire of what else can I do?
Yeah.
And I do think if people don't know about archetypes, look it up, because it's amazing. Like every 7 years, your life changes.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
if you're not on the right path,
it'll push
it'll
you.
push you
Yeah,
onto another
exactly.
path. And I know you spoke about it in the book, and that is funny because it's like 28 was that
28,
time.
exactly. And it was like the perfect time. And I do feel like at the time, they say chaos will come to you if you're not on the right path, because it will be life just forcing you, and you might be
Yeah.
really holding on to that life. But the universe has bigger plans, and it'll push you off. And I was unhappy in my job. I was just lost, and just in this, it wasn't just me going to work going, oh, and now I'm going to go to drama school.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on around that time for me to make that decision. I remember Kelvin coming home from work, and I was just in tears, and he was like, oh, what's wrong? Are you ill? He thought I was really ill. I was like, no, I just hate my job now. And he was like, oh my God, is that all? We can fix that. But at the time, I didn't feel like it could be. I was just like, oh, what's going on? I'm just not happy waking up every day. Not in a, not in a deeply depressed way, but there was just something not right. And that's, then when I saw the light that I could go to drama school and change this, that was what brought me back to, the fire in my eyes. And let's take this opportunity while we can.
And do you feel like when you went to drama school, like that, when you graduated when you were 30, like you came out of there and you were like, right, I'm ready to go?
Yeah, but this is the thing. Okay. You're like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be on every stage in London. I'm ready to do all this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't, does it?
Like that.
You kind of sugarcoated a little bit in drama school, aren't you?
Exactly.
Because you're like, I get all the parts, so I'm the best. And then you come out and you're like, uh-oh,
you're like
real
buzzing,
world.
and nothing happens. And I then came home from London. Auditions are that you don't audition every day. No actor is auditioning every day. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting at home all day. What am I going to do? I then had to get back to used to being back at home in Oldham when I'd had this life in London. I didn't have a job. So I was like, I just lost again, but so sure that I was on the right path.
Yeah.
And that was when I had to just give time. That's when you have to be making contacts. You have to create. So I then teamed up with a friend of mine, and we started putting shows on at the Opera House in Manchester. Because I was like, right, if no one's going to give me a job, I'll put a show on. I've made a job.
I love
That's
that.
what you have to do. And I think someone said to me, if you're not acting, if you're not in an acting job, it doesn't mean you're not an actor.
Yeah.
Just make some acting.
Yeah.
Just do what you
Yeah.
want to do. So I was like, right. So I put on a couple of shows, and the drive and keeping busy and casting it
Mhm.
and the rehearsals and everything kept you going. And then that finishes. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm back at square one again.
Mm.
What am I going to do
Is
now?
that down after you finish like a TV job or a stage job? It's the drop down
It's
is
the
so
exactly.
hard,
Exactly.
isn't it?
And that's when I think I will never allow myself to just be an actor. I'm a creative.
I
I
am
will
so glad you
do,
said that.
I want to work
Yeah.
on just making things, doing things, like
Yeah.
keeping going. I'm not just because I'm not in a drama or I'm not in
Mhm.
so whatever it is, it, I'll find something to do. You've got
Yeah.
to, and I was teaching kids for a little bit. I was
Yeah.
teaching singing lessons and you find these little
Mm.
things that give you the freedom to go to auditions,
Yeah.
but you've also got a job and doing what you love.
I love that you said that. I had actually a conversation with another friend of mine who's an actor, and we had this conversation. I think, I know for myself, when I found passion of mind and wellness and doing all this, that's when I started to enjoy acting so much because
Yeah.
I had a 10-year career of doing it every single day. So then it become a job. So
Yeah.
you kind of sometimes lose the passion as
Yeah.
well. But finding other passions to do in life took that pressure off acting or singing.
Yeah.
And I think it's not something that's taught really, if that's, college, drama school, whatever. It's like you've got to be all in. Don't have anything else because if you're doing
Yeah.
anything else, you're failing as an actor.
Yeah.
And I really treated after, working in the industry for so many years and chatting to other people, I feel the happiest actors are the ones when they've got other passions going
A
at the same
100%.
time.
Yeah.
When you're just focusing on acting, it can really, really make you struggle with your own mental health,
Yeah.
can't it?
I think that's with any career as well. If you're struggling in whatever career you want,
Yeah.
you've always got that thing that can just take you out of it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you have to have life isn't just about like one career, one drive.
Mm,
You can have a million things going on
mm,
and find the love in them all. And sometimes you just have to enjoy living your life
I know.
and think, right, I'm just gonna if I'm enjoying my day,
Yeah,
what a great success.
I know. And that's so refreshing for somebody to say. Do you know what I mean? And it
Yeah.
is to try and find the fun and the happiness in life, isn't it? Because we can all get so bogged down with what's our job? What we do with the
Yeah.
rest of our life? How we're going to live
Yeah.
our life? Are we hitting those milestones in our life
Exactly.
where, yeah, we might have had this is what we wanted our life, but sometimes life changes. Like you said,
Yeah.
the universe has plans for us anyway.
Yeah.
So it's about letting go and just kind of flowing with it as well, and
Yeah.
not having so much like this is what I need and want. Just gotta let
And
it go.
it takes time to get there. Like I have been through a lot of processes to probably get to this
Mm.
mindset. Because then after you know, drama school and getting the odd job here and the odd job there, I then got married. I then had children.
Yeah.
And then having children is a whole new ball game altogether. You're then a mother. You're a whole new
I don't know.
person.
I
You're
think
then like,
I
oh my
think you're
God.
amazing. Four kids. I was like, oh my God,
Well,
I don't know how you
exactly.
cope.
But then you're pregnant, trying
Yeah.
to be an actress. But I can't do a stunt if I'm pregnant. I'm not can't
Yeah.
do that job. I can't do this job. So it's life is always throwing challenges at you.
Mm,
And if you're just gonna keep, waking up every day, you just gotta
I know.
work around the
Mhm.
challenge. And there's been times when I was a mother and I was like, "Ah, I'm 9 months out now. I can't do it. And it's not like that. You
Yeah.
just have to find what's working for you
Mm.
in that time. And then somehow I've ended up with 4 kids. Like one kid was one kid is a lot. And then I've got 4. And it's like now I've had to find ways to integrate
Yeah.
them. They are like the absolute,
Yeah.
priority of everything. And there's a lot of, I'm so they're everything. They take my everything, my mind, my
Mm.
soul, everything.
Mm.
But I've got to find ways to integrate me,
Yeah.
my husband, a job, paying the bills, everything that
Yeah. Yeah.
goes with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You've got to find a way. And I think that's where I've learned to be efficient. I've learned to see what matters. What do you need to, dwell on? What do you need to just keep right? Just forget it. Just doesn't
Amazing.
matter. Just keep going.
And you feel like the farmer's done this as well. Like,
What do
so
you know?
how did it feel to become a farmer as
Oh my
well?
God. Well, this is Kelvin. This is Kelvin and his ideas of being a creative.
I just love it though, because it's like, you just like, okay, yeah, let's go and get a farm.
I have to be very open-minded with Kelvin's ideas
Yeah,
because I've got my
yeah,
ideas and he's got his, and I'm like,
yeah, yeah,
oh. So we were supposed to be moving to California.
yeah.
And that was the plan.
Yeah, I heard that when we were listening to the book.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I didn't even know that.
So, I mean, he had a huge transition. He was in a soap for
Yeah.
20 years. He was in Emmerdale for 20 years. He decided, I think me going to London inspired him, which was weird. He inspired me to go to
know.
London. And yet I inspired him to think, "Ah, maybe I don't want to do this job forever. What else is
Yeah.
out there? Like, maybe I should free myself up and see what's out there." So weirdly, we've kind of gone 360 and inspired each
Mm,
other. So we were going to move to California and we only had one child at the time. So we were like, let's go. She's not in school.
yeah.
We've got no actual responsibilities. Let's just do it. We'll sell the house or whatever and come back. Like, you know. And then obviously lockdown happened. So that didn't happen
Yeah.
for us because all the visas got stopped. And Kelvin still always has a drive, always wanting to push. And one of those moments where he was on the train going to London, on Rightmove, he goes onto Rightmove like people go on
Oh, my
Instagram.
husband is exactly the same.
He's like,
Exactly
oh,
the same. Like, I
like,
go, we're not moving again.
yeah.
Okay, not moving again.
I wish
I
I'd
was
have
like,
known. I should have said that.
I'm just looking. I'm just looking. That's all I get. I'm just looking. I go, no, I can't move again.
Yeah.
Because I just think I'm the one that's got to pack everything up.
Exactly. So he was like, look, he came home this one day and he was like, so I've seen this farm. And I was like, oh, right, yeah, brilliant. Along with the rest of the houses that it's seen that were not going to happen. But he kept mentioning this farm and he was like, shit. So I booked a viewing. Should we go and view this farm? I was like, farm, are you being serious? He's like, yeah, let's just look. Like, this could be. Anyways, being open-minded, I was like, oh, let's just look, whatever. And we went to this farm and it was one of those moments where you think, oh my God, this could actually work for us. Like this, maybe this is what is
It is stunning.
is
The
gonna
farm.
ride.
When I came over, like first time I seen it, I was like, I could live here. I could live here. I
It's
could do
peaceful
it.
enough. You do
That's what
find
it
a
is.
lot
It's
of
like you
peace
just
there.
go in and it is just.
It's nice and peaceful.
Yeah.
Which I think I need because I've got 4 kids. So sometimes I just need to step out the front door and I'm like, oh.
Just go and play in the fields
Yeah,
with the sheep.
So yeah, and that, you know, and that's the other thing, you know, the person that you marry ends up integrating a lot into your life.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be in a farm now if it wasn't for Kelvin. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that he's got this vision and this thing and that we do it as a team. You know, if he has this something that I feel his idea is a good idea, I'll go with it and then we'll make it work. And the farm has given us a great sense of purpose. A great sense of him being an actor as well, that we're in control of what happens. So if for whatever reason, I don't know, we never act again, we have this farm where we can be creative and we can still do things. And that was a massive reason as to moving there. And it's given us that excitement that, right, what can we do here now? What is our next step? And Kelvin has found so much love in farming. And me too, which things that I never thought I would do. We're doing it together and just it's so much, you learn so much knowledge, things that I know so much about sheep now that I never thought I'd ever be interested in sheep. But I'm like reading articles about sheep. I go to sleep thinking about grass. I'm like, what can I do about my grass?
Isn't it lovely though? Like having that, like discovering something and then getting so passionate about it. Like I'm the same with mind wells. I'm the same with like hypnotherapy. I like literally read my book every month I get from the therapy society, and I'm like, oh, this. And it's just so nice, isn't it, to have like these different passions in life.
Exactly.
And learn new things.
And to keep learning. Because the more you learn, I always say it, the more you realize you know nothing. You know absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So just keep reading, just keep learning. And it's so nice that we have this thing now. We have this subject that we just always go to. And we're like, oh, did you see that? Did you read that? Like, yeah, I read that. Like, what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about our grass? Or what are we going to do about these sheep? Or I don't know, whatever it is.
Well, you did the program Fletcher's on the Farm, and
Yeah.
honestly, I watched that and I was glued to it every single week. We used to sit there like that with our cups of tea, and I didn't know so much about farming, but
Yeah.
this is what I loved about when you did that program. It kind of brought farming into everybody's living rooms to kind of go,
Yeah.
this is what goes on, and how good's this?
And from day one, I think that was what we were so pleased with. Like that program was never a plan with the move. That program just came. It was one of those moments. It was a conversation that before you know it turned into this idea.
Yeah.
And it was so good that we literally got to show it from day one, starting on scratch. And you don't get to see that. A lot of
That's, I
farming
think,
programs,
yeah.
they're already established farmers or come from a family of farmers.
Mm,
We knew nothing. And watching that back, was so proud of what was created and
yeah.
what was there. And what a great thing to look back on and say, do you remember day one? Like we
know.
literally were filmed moving in. We wouldn't,
I think
sometimes all
that's
the
what's
stars
lovely.
align, don't they? And things just
Yeah,
happen.
but I think that's lovely. I think as a viewer watching that, because obviously I know you both, and actually watching that and seeing you both like having a go at something, but from the start, not
Yeah.
knowing anything, then learning, and then over the series, seeing it like progress so much. Like you were
Yeah.
proper like, I was like cheering you on. My mum was going, oh, like she was going, oh, watch Elizabeth and Kelvin on the farm. And like everyone was really cheering you on. And I
Yeah.
think that's how everyone feels about you. When we did our event, like Gillian, one of the members, she was like, I've watched you on the program. Like, because I think everyone was just like, God, this is so brave. And yeah, I want them to do well.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've had so many messages from that. This was just our decision, our move. And yet I get so many messages saying, do you know you inspired us to move? And people have moved from the city to the country. And that is the one thing I didn't ever think was going to come with this program.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, we inspired someone. Like we're looking to everyone else to be inspired.
Yeah.
And we inspired someone to make that move. Like we were quite emotional. We get so emotional when we hear stuff like that because we're like, wow, we've had a little piece of someone's decision there as to their next step in life. And that it really humbles you. And that is when you're like, that's what we should all look for. We should all look for inspiration. We should all see and what can we take from life? What can I take from you that'll help me? What from you will inspire me to do something that excites me in my life?
And each other helping each other out along the way.
Yeah.
Because also I love, and I've got to mention it here, but Jilly, like
she's the best.
When I was at your party the other week, I was like this. Oh my God, there's Jilly Misha.
Jilly is the star.
I was like, oh my God. But she just like came in and helped you straight away. And I think it just showed like us as human beings, like to be that lovely and compassionate and go, come on, I'm going to show you the way, because I've done this for quite a few years and I'm going to help you. And I think we all can take something from that really to help other people, isn't it?
Exactly. And she is a strong woman. She, honestly, the things that she does, she will move sheep like, honestly, like a 6-foot man. She is not scared of anything. She just in there and sharing all her information with us. We were just these two little people.
Yeah.
And she shared so much information with us to help us, to get us on our feet now. I mean, we still call her now and again, but from what she shared with us, we've found our own way and found our own systems.
And isn't that lovely, that sharing?
Exactly.
Oh.
Instead of keeping it all to herself, like there's no competition. She's doing her thing, we're doing our thing, and she wants us to do well. She wants us to try and succeed in the dream of farming.
And isn't that lovely? Just like I think we all should be like that, share what we know to help others as much as possible.
And a lot of decisions throughout my life is because someone shared what they're doing. And I'm like, oh, that sounds brilliant. I might do that.
Yeah.
If they didn't, I wouldn't know what's going on out there. Nobody would.
It's I just love it. I love your mindset. I think it's amazing. And also, because I do want to mention it on here, like your whole family goes to sleep to my meditations, don't they?
My family don't believe you're a real person.
I just love it. I just love it.
Like literally, that's the thing. I mean, we've got a loud, chaotic, messy house. We've got 4 children. We run a farm. There's a dog running about. We've got a cat now that's just not meant to
A
be in the house.
cat?
We've
When
now
did you
got a
get a
cat.
cat?
Jilly bought me a cat for my birthday.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
This cat's not meant to be in the house, but it's in the house. And I feel so sorry for it. I'm now ignoring it and pretending I've not seen it so it can stay. I'm like, oh, so when it gets to bedtime, that's my time where I'm like, let's wind down,
Mm.
let our brains shut off. And the best way to do that is your meditation tapes. It's the only way. It is the
I
only
just
way.
love it. I love it because when I set up mine once, I was like, you just try them. And you were like, I haven't got time for this. I was like, just try it to try and give you balance. And then, like, when I spoke to Kelvin, he was like, we go to sleep to your voice every night. And I just like,
Well,
and
yeah.
that makes me like literally smile so much because what I do, I just want to help people find a balance and like release any stress. And it
Yeah.
really helps me. So again, I want to share that for other people and to know that it helps yourselves, but also the kids as well. I
Yeah.
love that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it got to the point where I was pregnant with twins and you were telling me to meditate. And I'm like, Gemma, like I've got time. I'm lucky if I brush my
This
teeth.
is on everyone says to me, meditation.
Yeah.
No.
Naively, you think that it's
Mhm.
something that, takes all day or takes all
Yeah.
morning. And when you said, just try it at bedtime, because when are you ever at the stillest? It's
Yeah.
getting in bed. And that was the best advice you could give me because it can't, my kids are getting to an age now where they're taking in so much of the world.
Yeah.
And it's amazing for them to just shut off, just calm,
Mm.
find some stillness. And then for me, once you've integrated that at a time, it's really hard to go without it. It's really hard to
Yeah.
go back now and just be 100 miles an hour and just be like, bath, bed, everyone is.
Yeah.
No one can go to sleep
Because
like that.
it's stressful, like having a family of kids that,
Yeah.
you finish work, bath, bed, get them in bed. And it's
Yeah.
probably not fair on
It's not fair on
the little
them.
ones because
Exactly.
they're like, what do you mean I've got to go to sleep now?
Yeah,
It's like trying to
exactly.
find that to bring them down as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's perfect. And we always do the serious sleep because I'm like, let's hope you sleep all night. Serious sleep and find it, and we're all into it. And it just helps me just zone out for that. And
Mm.
the way I feel after 5-10 minutes, it's such a booster.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily always go to sleep to it, although they do. I don't. But even that, it just feels like you've taken a deep breath
Deep
and you
breath.
just,
Yeah.
right, I can think a little straighter now. I can think a little clearer.
Mm.
And because life does get in the way and you can just be on a train of where you've not reflected,
Mm.
you've not had a minute. And then, before you know it, 2 weeks has gone by, a month's gone by.
I know.
And you're just on this roller
Yeah.
coaster. And it does just give me that little 5 minutes. And although we may get back on the roller coaster, I've had that 5
Have that
minutes
5
that's
minutes
just kind of
of a
reset
mum.
me.
Yeah, of a mum and bit of you time, isn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. And I'm not surrounded by candles. This is another thing that was
Yeah.
naive. I thought you had to, be surrounded by candles, have your yoga outfit on, the lights dim, and be doing a gong thing.
Yeah.
You don't.
You
It's just
don't.
me in
Yeah.
the kids' bedrooms or in my bedroom
As
or
I say, you just
wherever.
literally press play and then you can
Yeah.
do it. And that's
And you're
that's
just
the
there.
beauty. But it's like, it's funny actually, because I've seen something the other day and people try not to use the words like meditation and stuff. And I totally get where people are coming from, but we need to use the words meditation or hypnosis because make people aware of how good it is. But
Yeah.
also, it isn't like an hour long practice. It can be 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just to have that stillness and then go again and just kind of keep moving for mums, children, and just have that bit of downtime.
And I didn't realize how important that 3 minutes, say,
Yeah.
or 5 minutes has on your stress levels. Like once you've connected with your breath and you've calmed your whole body down, you can think so much better.
Yeah.
You can think you'll go to one thought instead of a million thoughts all at once. And that's what I need because 1 minute I'm like, the kids, the farm,
Yeah.
the school, the
Yeah.
job, the this, the that. I got, and sometimes you just got to start, right? What's first on my list? What's the priority?
Yeah.
And I find that once I've done your sort of meditation, I go, right, let's start with number one now. What's the most important thing that I
Yeah.
need to do now? And then we'll just work our way down.
Yeah, it does. It just gets rid of all that fuzziness.
Yeah. Because it can be, it can become overwhelming. A lot of the time, Kelvin can be working away and I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And I think I have to kind of think, I have to do this. It's my responsibility. Everyone's relying on me, so I can't crumble. So
Yeah.
this is the way that I kind of reset and I help them reset.
Mm.
Do you
I
know?
love that. And you're teaching your children to have such a good practice in that way, to
Yeah.
have a little bit of stillness, because a lot of children now don't have that switch off
Yeah, exactly.
because we are a
Exactly.
world of doing all
Keep
the
going.
time.
Exactly. Phones, screens,
Yeah,
work, turn it off, right, go to sleep. You can't do it like that. Kids
yeah,
don't work like that. People don't work
yeah.
like that. You really need to go back to the
Mhm.
basics and just settle.
Oh, I just love that. Absolutely love it. So I know you've just done Hollyoaks.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have.
So what's next? What's the plan? Or is it the universe just taking the flow? Like, where do you feel like the next thing is for you?
Oh God, I mean, I don't know. The next big thing that we've got is Fletcher's Family Farm. So it's a brand new series.
Okay.
It's with ITV, and it's pretty
Amazing.
much where we're at in farming now, where the kids are at in farming, because they've all grown up a little bit now. It's just like 2 years we've been at the farm
Yeah.
now, and yeah, so we've got eight episodes coming out in autumn. And they're an hour long, so you're gonna get to
Oh,
see
I
a
was just about to
lot.
say, like, how long is it? Is the
Yeah.
series long enough? Because the last one I wanted more.
I know
That's the thing.
everybody
I just
said
wanted more,
that.
more,
Yeah.
more.
So, well, you'll get an hour now. You'll be like,
Oh my
you'll get enough.
goodness. I just love that. So when's that coming out?
So that's awesome.
Okay.
So towards the end of the year, and yeah, you'll see our next stages. And then who knows? Who knows? We've started to do events at the farm because we're creating.
Yeah.
It's about us creating. What can we do
Yeah.
with this space now?
I
What can we
know.
do to bring people to the country? What can we do that kids would love here? And
Mm.
that's our next step. We've got a big Christmas event. Santa's Village is
Oh,
happening throughout the
amazing.
whole of December, which is a huge operation. And it was weird to be thinking about Christmas in June. And, because I usually do my Christmas shopping. Those who know you do the Christmas shopping, it's not
Yeah.
Father Christmas. um, Christmas Eve, I leave it so last minute. I'm terrible. So the fact that I'm organised now in June, July is
For actual
unreal.
Christmas.
For everything, like we've got everything planned,
Oh,
the
how
events planned.
amazing.
Yeah, totally. So yeah.
I just think the farm is just such a gorgeous place to be. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And it's just lovely that you're sharing this with more people. And like the Christmas, I'll definitely be there. And we keep saying we need to
I'll
do
get you
something.
working there. You can do some
I'll,
Christmas meditation.
oh my God, don't I would love that. But yeah, I think honestly, Liz, I just love chatting to you because I've felt like this for years. I think your mindset is just incredible. I think you're a beautiful human.
Oh,
And I'm just thrilled with everything that you're doing. And just
oh,
thank you so
thank
much for
you.
coming on
Thank you
for
for having me.
a little chat.
Let's keep helping each other and pushing each other up and
Exactly,
getting
in
to where
it.
they want to be.
In it. And that's something for everyone to take in it. We're
Yeah.
all here to support each other and help each other out. And yeah, it's just exciting. Oh, thanks.